Welcome to the Single Leg Parlay College Week 11 preview. We got some games of interest this week, and we're going to break them all down. This is the only spot where you can hear our best bets, Single Leg Parlay, the brain trust that has been winning you money finally. Now we're going to parlay that into a lot more money, so hold on. But before we do shit, I got Chris over here. I got Al on the other side. Got beer in front of me. Let's do that. No fucking around today, boys. Let's get straight into the picks and what games we think are interesting. Al, what's your favorite game this weekend?
Excuse me. So there's a fair amount of games to pick from here. I'm going to go with a couple of the probably more boring of the ones that are interesting to me. So that's going to be Florida going to Austin, taking on the Texas Longhorns. I want to see if Florida can string together another good performance against a top-ranked team. You might notice Florida's only losses this year have been to ranked teams. So I guess I assume that trend will continue. But I do. Maybe I'm a little higher than I should be on the Gators, but I think that one could be fun. And then the other one is a little upset special. Iowa State goes to Kansas after dropping one to Texas Tech, right?
Yep.
So I kind of like Kansas +3. I kind of like Kansas to win. We're going to turn an 8-0 start into a 2-game losing skid for Iowa State. It's possible. So those are the two I'm going to have my eye on this week.
Yeah. I like Florida, Texas is going to be interesting, right? Texas has not played particularly well in their last two games. They lost to Georgia by 15, held on to beat a Diego Pavia team, led Vanderbilt team in Nashville. They had a bye, and I'm curious to see what that outcome looks like, right? Are they going to get things rolling? You are allowed to have bad stretches, especially in the playoff era where you have a couple bad games, you can bounce back.
Especially when you still win them. Like that
Football's not linear, right? It can take all kinds of circuitous routes to get to the end result, right? So Florida's been playing so much better, though. Like, this is a fine job by Billy Napier to turn this all around. We've been shit-talking him for years. I'm actually impressed. Is Lagway playing? Is my question.
Right. Without Lagway, this is not a game that you should have on. But if he plays, it's probably worth keeping an eye on. Give you a better idea of a quarterback who you're going to be a lot more familiar with next year, I'd say.
And he's a Texas kid, so there may be some extended ties there. Big high school. He was awesome in high school in the state where it's toughest to play high school football. So really curious about how DJ Lagway plays, and is he auditioning for? Is he going to stay in Florida? A lot of ramifications of that game. So, yeah, I'm into it. Iowa State is fascinating because I love Rocco Becht. Love their quarterback. He is feast or famine. The feast is delicious, though. And he's a perfect Matt Campbell style quarterback where he does some crazy shit. But he knows how to manage a game extremely well. Kansas playing better. Kansas was really good the last couple of years. Lance Leipold knows how to coach up offense. It should be fun. It should be a fun watch.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably saying, "Oh, this is a 2-6 Kansas team. Why do you like them at all against Iowa State?" And I'll tell you, they have played close games, right? They lost by a score to Illinois. They lost by a field goal to UNLV. They lost by, 4 to West Virginia. They lost by 4 to Arizona State. And then since then, I guess they lost to Kansas State by 2. So these are games that are a play away from being wins, and that's right there, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. So they're not as bad as their record is. I think it's a bad spot to be in for Iowa going into Kansas.
Agreed.
Iowa State, sorry.
Agreed. Chris, what game interests you the most?
There's only one game out there that you must watch this weekend, and that is going to be Georgia at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
And it's going to be an offensive battle between two teams, and it's going to be a fantastic watch.
Yeah, Ole Miss has got a pretty good defense too. Like, it's kind of slept on because Ole Miss plays at such a high rate of offense that they can end up punting the ball or they can end up scoring really quickly. So there's a lot of possessions. But I do think Ole Miss is kind of like Ole Miss in this game. Kind of hate that I say that because this is a game that I've seen Kiffin lose like 10 times. All these games where it's extra hyped and you're talking about, well, is this the year he beats Alabama? He loses by like 30 points. So between the hedges, it would be a fun little matchup. I'm in.
But it's at Ole Miss, so that makes it.
Oh shit! I thought it was in Georgia.
That was my mistake. I said that to you.
Oh, it's on the Grove.
It's in the Grove. Yeah.
That traditional SEC 3:30 p.m. start. This is gonna be a good one. Now I'm in. I'm even in more. Yeah. This is what I want. Couple games I think are interesting. The traditional ACC matchup between Cal and Wake Forest. Not interested. I just wanted to say the traditional
ACC. Yeah.
Love it when the Cal Golden Bears go all the way down to Winston-Salem to hang out at Wake Forest. It just feels like college football Saturday, doesn't it?
Where do they even fly into?
Raleigh.
Raleigh, Durham.
Like, God, that sucks.
I mean, they're a fucking college team.
8-hour flight, hour and a half drive.
It might be what is it? Like a private jet.
But I really am looking forward to the game of the century. It's one of my favorite games that plays every year in the second Sunday in November. When Alabama and LSU come together, I love it even more when it is in Baton Rouge, and I love it the most when it's at night, and it's always at night. So this game, LSU at home, night game, we talked about this in previous podcasts, a tricky spot to play. You get the Cajuns. Yeah, you get neck going. You get the Cajuns in full drunk throat saying, suck that Tiger DB. It's going to be a good one. Neither team is living up to the standard. I think LSU came off the Garrett Nussmeier loss at Texas A&M. Alabama, I don't know what to say about Alabama. They're good, but are they good?
No.
Are they good? Is Alabama good? Let's stop there. Is Alabama good? Yes, maybe no.
I'm going to say yes, but if you used any more superlative adjective to describe them, I'd say no.
Okay.
They are not any better than good.
Yeah. Is Alabama good? Yes, maybe, no. All of that? Can they be yes, maybe, and no?
I think they're a good team. I do. I am still a little shocked that they beat UGA, but they're, like Al said, good. I'm not saying they're very good. They're good.
Yeah. They're
which
good.
Which is weird to say about Alabama. I feel like for the past 10 years they've been like it.
There's a big thing that happened this year at Alabama. I don't know if you guys heard. Nick Saban retired.
Yeah? What?
He did what? Who? Who's Nick Saban?
You know what a game that seemed really awesome before the season now it seems really shitty is Oklahoma, Missouri. That seems like a game that would be really fun to talk about before.
That's not even the game I thought you were going to mention.
You want to talk about the one that two of us root for?
That's right.
There's no reason to watch Notre Dame, Florida State. It is a 26.5 point spread. The game's at Notre Dame. I make this joke quite often. We have an excellent punter in Mastromano and an excellent kicker in Fitzgerald, and we are wasting their seasons. It is a shame to have a kicker who's made 5 50-plus kicks and the best Aussie rules player to be playing American football right now and just wasting their season because our special teams is elite. That's it for Florida State. So maybe we're going to need some pick threes in this game. We're going to need 4 pick threes, get us to 12 points, and then we can see where we go from there. But
so you like the over on the FSU team total?
So the team total is what currently? 7.5, you said?
7.5, I think I saw.
Maybe they'll get to 9.
3 pick threes.
Yeah, 3 pick threes, man.
4 safeties gets you home.
We're not getting a safety.
Okay.
It's got to be a field goal. But you get us within the 40-yard line, we're kicking that field goal. We're trying for the field goal. We're not even trying to get first downs anymore.
No.
We're trying to put kickers in the league because that's what we do, I guess.
All right.
Actually, that might be a better game plan.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. That might be the game plan that Florida State needs to go with. We don't need touchdowns. Just get us in field goal range.
Shrink the field, baby. Here's a game that looked bad before the season, but looks bad now for a very different reason. Like the team quality's flipped. Michigan goes to Indiana this week, and I don't think anyone thought that was going to be a game worth watching before the season, thinking Michigan was going to keep their step play up, maybe not playoff championship worthy, but at least playoff worthy, and they have shit the bed hard. And meanwhile, Indiana is undefeated and doesn't look like there's any sign of slowing them down. They're laying 14 points here. That is crazy. I've not been a fan of you guys betting on Michigan lately, but I'm on Michigan this week. I'm actually on
too many points.
I thought I wasn't on every Michigan team this week because I didn't see Michigan State or Eastern Michigan on the board, but I think they're both off this week. So I'm betting every Michigan team this week.
Hell yeah.
Central Michigan, Western Michigan, Michigan.
So just in case you didn't look at it, but Indiana has beaten every opponent by more than 14 points.
Yeah, they're really good.
The last 4 games, they have won by 17, 49 against Nebraska, 14 to Washington, and 37. They are rolling, but I agree. That feels like too many points. And Michigan.
I wasted a whole month betting on Indiana, waiting for the bottom to drop out, and it just has not. So I'm in, but not this week.
They got Michigan and Ohio State coming up, so we're going to find out a lot about Indiana real quick.
Yeah.
But yes, they're very good. They are not a team to be trifled with, it seems. Holy War, another game that I didn't think was going to be really interesting before the year, but totally different. BYU, let me verify where this game is. The game is in Utah. But BYU Utah is always a really fun game. Rice Eccles, much like LSU, is traditionally a very challenging home field. But this BYU team is rolling, and this Utah team is reeling. I'm curious to know if the rivalry here makes this game interesting or BYU just absolutely smokes them because their defense is fucking good. It is totals at 41.5, and that may be too many points in that game because both defenses are going to come to play for sure. And the BYU has been a madman. He's been awesome for them.
I don't know if Utah's been leaving their quarterback into soak all season, but it's time to pull him out and put him on the field and see if he can turn the season around a little bit. Because 4-4 is a pretty disappointing year for the Utes.
And one of my favorite sheet that I use quite often for gambling has a Purdue Ohio State number that says Purdue's team total should be 5 or less. 5 is just a funny number for a team total. Purdue going to Ohio State and scoring 5. So I may have to look at a team total under there, unless it's like 3.5. Because 5 just
I'm going to look it up now because that's crazy.
It says you should expect the outcome to be 47-5. 5. Yeah.
7.5.
Ooh,
it's super juiced though.
Okay. Smack that under. I think those are all the good ones. San Jose State at Oregon State. Man. Oregon State has no chance to win the Pac-12, right? They're too far behind in the Pac-12 conference race to get back in. Washington State's going to lock that one up. And, you guys want to talk about MACtion on Tuesday? Do you have some bets you want to lay out there? And then we'll go into our normal protocol. I guess that's your best bet, right? Let's talk about our favorite bets for the week then. All right, Al, start us off. It is November 5th. Nothing else happening tonight on November 5th this Tuesday except MACtion is back, baby.
That's right.
What's your favorite pick?
I am taking Central Michigan plus 12.5, hosting Bowling Green. And I might even put a little bit on the money line here. It's probably pretty juicy. The typical MACtion logic here in that no team in the MAC is much better than any other team in the MAC. And wild shit happens in the MAC, especially on these primetime slots. So, yeah, I'm going to take the points here and hope for the best.
I think it's fun here's a fun stat. Central Michigan is 0-4 on the road. Not good. 3-1 at home, though. You got Bowling Green coming into town. Can they correct everything right now? Find out. And in the battleground state, I guess Ball State is Indiana, huh? I was going to say Ohio.
No, I think it's Indiana.
I honestly could not tell you. I feel like it's Kentucky, Ohio.
Ooh, maybe
Where
it is Kentucky.
Is Ball State?
When you see this podcast,
Muncie,
please,
Indiana.
Well, put it in the chat where you think Ball State should be.
Oh, sorry.
Because I'm curious. No. Great. It's Muncie, Indiana. But where should Ball State really be? Miami, Ohio is going into Ball State in Muncie, Indiana. Looks like Miami, Ohio is a double-digit favorite. Any thoughts here? Take the points?
I think Ball State's bad. I think that this is an exception where I probably would not take the points.
All right.
But, the logic in general is good, so I go with God if you do.
Go with God.
Watch Ball State will be the one that wins outright, and Central Michigan will get smoked.
Yeah, so it is November 5th. Nothing else happening. Make sure you watch MAC football with your family and your loved ones. Nothing unifies our nation more, and I actually mean this, than MAC football on Tuesdays. There's not many things that everyone can agree upon in this nation, and that's what we need at these uncertain times. Let's talk about other best bets. Andy wants Michigan plus 14. We kind of just talked about this with Indiana. Indiana's been really good. Michigan has been really not good. 14 feels like a lot. And this is Indiana's first big test against one of the big guys. They've been kicking the shit out of everyone, so they could be fine in this. But hosting Michigan, we'll see if they live up to it. If this is in the big house, it's in the Indiana big house. But if it was in the traditional big house, I feel like Indiana could possibly be in trouble here. But
yeah,
I think Indiana wins, but 14 feels like a lot of points. So I'm kind of with Andy. Sunshine, you're unifying a community, aren't you? What are you doing in this bet?
I'm going to change up my best bet.
Oh, okay.
Oh, snap. Do it.
Okay, I'll go really quick. I'll go with
right.
You get yourself ready. I'm going to lay 10.5 with Memphis at Rice, hosting Rice. Rice came off a nice little win against Navy. Everyone's thinking, well, Navy beat Memphis by 50 points. And Rice beat Navy, so Rice is considerably better than Memphis. No. Memphis is a pretty good team. They're lining themselves up to try to make a playoff run here in the AAC. They're 3-2 in conference, 7-2 overall. Big win over Florida State earlier this year. Went on the road in Tallahassee and won a game. So it's a stand-up win. But no, I do think Memphis is legitimately better than Rice, and by more than 10.5 points, especially at home.
Yeah, I like it.
All
right, Chris, what's your best bet?
All right, so I've changed my best bet to I'm betting the over in the Ole Miss Georgia game.
What's the number currently? Do you know?
54.5.
54.
And I'm taking the over in this because Ole Miss scores points, and at home they're gonna score points, and Georgia scores points, and Georgia's just gonna score points. I think, like if you look at Georgia, Alabama, they scored somewhere like around 70. And Mississippi State, Georgia, they scored somewhere around 54, and then Florida scored 54 exactly. I think it's going to be over. We got a higher caliber offenses on both sides. So that's what I think is my best bet.
All right.
I'm still sticking with my other bet, but it's just not my best one anymore.
I'm also intrigued by Pitt laying 7.5. I don't know. I think it may be 8 now at home versus Virginia. Kind of like a little bounce back from both Memphis against the idea of the transitive property of Rice, and Pittsburgh kind of stomping on Virginia a little bit and getting back after it.
Yeah, I was looking at that one too, and I was like, I can't tell if Virginia is
super
awful
fun
or like okay.
I think they're just an ACC team, right? Yeah. They're going to have weeks where you're like, wow, they're really good. And they're going to have weeks that are like, man, you're a fucking terrible football team.
Yeah.
And that's the ACC experience.
I also feel so bad for them. I think their remaining schedule is like ranked Pitt, ranked Clemson, ranked Miami or something.
Yeah, they got a tough run of things coming up here for the Virginia Cavaliers. Any thoughts on Miami, Georgia Tech?
Sorry, they play Pitt, Notre Dame, SMU, and then they go to Virginia Tech. That's bad. That's not fun.
No. Al, you got any thoughts on Miami and Georgia Tech and the line? I think, what is it, 14 right now?
So, I think I'm betting on Miami this week. I don't know if I played it or, I'm laying 11.5 with Miami. It feels like it's time to get on board. Georgia Tech is always like a trap game for us. It's always one of three teams that trip us up. But I just don't think Georgia Tech's got it this year. I think they started the year hot and they kind of fallen off, and I don't think they're going to be able to hang offensively.
Yeah, I think it comes down to if Haynes King is playing. He's been out the last couple games, and you've seen the impact on Georgia Tech's football team. If he comes back, they can mess around. I don't think Miami's in any fear of losing that game, but they are not. If Philo and Pyron are their quarterbacks, they are not good enough. If Haynes King's around, they can make it fun, especially against the Miami defense that's porous. Let's put it that way, porous. But you guys are going to score like a 50 burger. There is not going to be enough burgers for the amount of points you guys are going to score.
Yeah.
All right. I know we like to give away some money line plays. Al, you and Andy had a pretty good week, right?
Yeah, we did okay. I gave out a lot of them. A lot of them were juicy ones too. So if you played them all, you probably didn't come out ahead. But I did give out Syracuse. I did give out UCLA. I think both of those were around a touchdown dogs, and they won outright. Florida, I think if Lagway stayed healthy, that one could have been in play. And then Eastern Michigan, they blew a 12-point lead in the fourth quarter, scored with no time left, went for 2 to win, and failed to get it. So, things could have been a little bit different. I think Pitt got blown out. But Andy was on Wyoming, App State, and Troy, and they all won outright. And then Purdue, he was on as well, and Purdue lost in overtime. So really close to a very, very good week. Instead, combined probably a little bit ahead. But I got some more this week. I think these are going to be. I try to limit myself a little bit, so I'm not giving you guys 8 different plays to pick from. But I've got short dogs and larger dogs mixed in here. So I've got Western Michigan, which I think they're +1.5 at home. So that's going to be probably a +110 or something like that. Yeah. UCLA, I'm double dipping there. They are +6.5 hosting Iowa.
You're a big fan of UCLA right now. You keep riding on them.
I think there's value there. I don't. What has Iowa done to make you convinced they're going to go out to California and win this one? And I think Eric Bieniemy's got the offense playing a little bit better out west, so I think it's worth a shot. And then, as I said before, I'm on Kansas +3. Well, they're +3. I'm on the money line hosting Iowa State. Vandy, I forget who Vandy plays this week. Let me get it up. And then I'm also on North Texas, who I believe hosts Army this week. So that is a fun one. I think they're 5.5-point dogs, but that's a team that puts up points, and I think you could have a real shootout there. I think the total's up to like 63.5, so there are points expected. That could be like a last possession game kind of thing. So North Texas, and then Vandy is hosting South Carolina. They just came off of an impressive win against A&M. They may have kind of blown their wad on that one. Vandy seems pretty even-keeled, so I think they might be up for it.
Hell yeah.
That's it.
One game I do want to talk about a little bit is Clemson, Virginia Tech. Virginia Tech's been playing a little bit better. Game we just forgot about. Clemson is coming off that Louisville loss at home, and they're going to Blacksburg. Real fun outcome there. I do think Clemson's a 6.5-point favorite. The variance here is crazy. My gut is to bet Virginia Tech here at +6.5. But it also could be a game where Clemson comes out for blood and wins by 40. So 3:30 window. There's some interesting game. The Army game is a really interesting one. If Bryson Estes is not playing quarterback, I love North Texas in this because they did not look very good against Air Force, even though they won by 14. That game was suspiciously close for long periods of it. So He got pulled out of that game with 90 minutes beforehand because of illness and injury out of nowhere. And your boy was betting Army like crazy. And that would have been really valuable information had it not been 90 minutes before the fucking game. Awful realization just knowing I threw money down the toilet. But yeah, that would be that's a fun one to watch. So if you see any information about the Army quarterback not playing, love that North Texas play. I like the North Texas play either way because they're a scrappy bunch.
I think they're a little. I don't think people know about them yet, but they run like crazy. They rack up points like crazy. That should be a fun one. Fun mesh of styles, clash of styles, I guess.
Styles make fights, and then one more. Colorado, Texas Tech. Texas Tech coming back home after a big win. You're in Odessa, Midland, wherever they are in Texas Tech. I forgot what city it's in, but way out in West Texas. Lubbock, that's the city.
Lubbock.
It could be a really fun match. Spread is close. Spread's real close at 3 points as a Colorado favorite. So this one could get squirrely at that 4 p.m. hour. So got a lot of good football coming up this week. Not traditionally matchups like Georgia, Ole Miss, Alabama, LSU. Yeah, I get those. Those are great. Florida, Texas. Those are really good name values. Good weekend for the SEC. But there's some sneaky good games in other conferences. So do not just watch SEC.
The good games you're going to be watching, and you're going to be like zoning out with those good, quote unquote, good games on the marquee matchups, and then all of a sudden you're going to have like a news flash come across the screen showing that one of these other teams that these kind of forgotten games we just touched on, the good team is losing by 2 or 3 scores, and you're like, let me flip over to that one.
You're going to see Notre Dame is down to Florida State 18-14 because Florida State's kicked 6 field goals.
Yeah, exactly.
That's it, boys. You guys got anything else? That's your college football preview. Hell of a week coming up. A lot of real fun games, some juicy stuff. If this weekend was any indication, there are going to be a variety of upsets upcoming. I think what was the stat here? Let me see. Of the 48 games,
time of the year.
of the 48 games between FBS teams of this past weekend, 29 of them had results that were more than 10 points off their opening spread. Right, so these prognosticators in Vegas are really smart. They were wrong in 60% of them to a wide margin. And the ones that were off by at least 3 scores, 21 points, was like 35%. So things are getting crazy. So buckle
Just
up.
pick the right side. Doesn't matter where the points are. Is that what you're saying?
Just find the winners. Stop fucking choosing the losers. No, my point is what you expect has been wrong a lot of the year. So let's hold on and enjoy some college football. What do you say?
Yep.
Go to singlelegparlay.com and hit the old subscribe button. Let us slide in your DMs with some cash. And by that, I mean some picks that you can invest yourself and invest responsibly. And cheers, everybody. We love y'all.
That's it.
Cheers.
Love you.
Thanks for listening to the newly rebranded Single Leg Parlay podcast. Visit our website at www.singlelegparlay.com, where you can read more of our thoughts, as well as subscribing to our newsletter to have our picks delivered straight to your inbox each week. And don't forget to follow Single Leg Parlay on all of your favorite social media platforms. Cheers!